this is a success, right? This is the next thing, right? Because there's two parts of protesting.
Action to sit was later lifted to taking a knee.
You go outside and you protest, and then the company or the individual say, I hear you. What do we do next?
We have cops that are murdering people. We have cops in the SFPD that are blatantly racist. And those issues need to be addressed.
For me, it was like actionable item. What are we gonna do with it?
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
What are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So, reach millions and millions of people, or we get stuck on Colin not having a job.
Jay-Z partnered with the National Football League, the same mega corporation that employs those involved in murder, domestic violence, and countless other offenses, but sees a disproportionate issue at hand with silently taking a knee on the sidelines. What struck me was this.
Did you kneel and would you stand?
What?
Did you kneel and would you stand?
Okay, I think we've passed kneeling.
This is eerily similar to what Malcolm Jenkins, co-leader of the Players Coalition and hijacker of CAP's movement, said. I really want to get this conversation to move away from the anthem. I think it has served its purpose, which I have to ask. Did we solve police brutality? Another component, as Kiara Kelly wrote, I really didn't like how Jay-Z said we are beyond kneeling and we need some actionable items. First actionable item. You shouldn't lose your job for exercising your First Amendment right. Still, what changed for Hov?
If you were his sports agent, Jay-Z is the sports agent for Colin Kaepernick. And before this all happened, he came to you and said, I want to do this. Would you have said, do it, don't do it? What would you have counseled the brother?
Oh, 100% do it.
He said this to Van Jones, CNN anchor, also under the Rock Nation umbrella. On Saturday Night Live, Jay wore the limited edition I Stand With Cap Nike jersey. At a Miami concert in 2017, he told the audience, I want y'all to understand, when people are kneeling and putting their fists up in the air and doing what they're doing, it's not about the flag, it's about justice. It's about injustice. And that's not a black or white thing, it's a human issue.
I don't knock what he's doing, and hopefully he doesn't knock what I'm doing.
Have you talked to him about bringing him into this project?
Oh, we had a conversation.
Let's pause here. There has been no one more forthright in helping serve the people than Cap and the First Lady of the movement, Nessa Diab. So when Nessa says Colin never spoke to Jay ahead of that big deal being done, and they never included him in any discussion, then on top of which Cap's attorney Mark Garagos reaffirmed to TMZ, Jay's team tried putting out the fire. But Jamil Hill wrote, a source close to Kaepernick speaking on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the topic told me it was not a good conversation. Another portion struck a nerve.
I think everyone knows what the issue is, and we're done with that.
Look at this smug smirk and nod from the guy who makes over $31 million a year and helped exile Colin Kaepernick. That's who you're shaking hands with.
Everyone knows what you know what the issue is? You know why we were kneeling? Okay, do you know the issue? Yeah, do you know the issue? Yes?
We all know what the issue was, but what Hov is about to do is unjust.
How are we going to stop? Because the kneeling was not about a job. It was about injustice. Let me bring attention to injustice. Everyone's saying, how are you going forward and Cap doesn't have a job? This wasn't about him having a job.
To split the entire movement in two, as Jay does here, when the face of the entire movement was kicked out, is an injustice. This is what Jay-Z fails to reconcile with. If a commander leads his army into battle and his side wins the war but the commander gets captured, does the army give up on the commander and leave him behind? Does another general rise to power and wash away the commander's heroics? No.
If Jay-Z decides to collaborate with the NFL and use the strong arm of the NFL to impact communities, disenfranchised communities throughout our nation, in a very, very positive way, then excuse me, wasn't that the goal that Colin Kaepernick had?
These are the talking points. Remember them. Memorize them. These are the naysayers to the broker deal, and it's a shame Stephen A. Smith is at this forefront. As Eric Reed writes, we never advocated for Colin to lose his job while we fought against systemic oppression. That's unjust, and where the NFL inserted itself into this. Now the NFL is championing social justice to cover their own systemic oppression and blackballing Colin. So we will fight to get Colin's job back as well. Jay-Z knowingly made a money move with the very people who have committed an injustice against Colin and is using social justice to smooth it over with the black community. Jamil Hill wrote, "It doesn't matter whom the NFL partners with or how much money it pours into social justice causes. The league's actions come off as disingenuous because Cap remains unemployed as a result of a peaceful protest." How can the NFL be taken seriously as a social justice champion when it blackballed a player who stood up for equality? Jay-Z has given the NFL exactly what it wanted: guilt-free access to black audiences, culture, entertainers, and influencers. It should be noted, Jay has done so many great things. It is okay to take matters like this on a case-by-case basis. In my view, it is truly disheartening to see the NFL sign up someone like Sean Carter, who represents so much to countless quantities of people, yet turn their back on the leader of the movement he is straight capitalizing on. If Jay wants to enter into TYT, I welcome him to a discussion with open arms. I, along with many others, have questions. Jackie Robinson, an icon, had one great flaw. He was used as a pawn against Paul Robeson. Joe Louis was used before the expungement of the whites-only rule in golf. In Howard Bryant's book, The Heritage, Bryant pens, Robinson knew now in the case of Paul Robeson that he was used to play the role he feared then, the worst role a black man could ever play in America, the safe, establishment, black alternative to counter a legit black demand for fairness. As Malcolm X once charged, he had been pitted against his own, reminiscent of what took place with Hove and the NFL, and an unjust conclusion to what should have never been.